Hi, I'm Shannon Steffi, Senior Editor for Internal Auditor Magazine. I'm speaking with Sandro Boeri, Managing Director for his company Risk Audit Professional Development. He will be presenting a session at the IAA's international conference called Lean Internal Auditing, Achieving More with Less on Tuesday, July 8th at 5 p.m. Welcome, Sandro. How are you today?
I'm very well, Shannon. Very much excited to be participating in the conference.
Great, wonderful. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. I think I would describe myself as one of these boring types, a career internal auditor who started life at the age of 18 in a merchant bank, a very old-fashioned institution, and spent 25 years auditing before his first midlife crisis. And here I am back again trying to encourage people to do even more internal auditing.
And what will you be covering in your session at the international conference?
Okay, I'm going to be covering Lean Internal Audits, a session that is based on doing more with less. What we tend to find nowadays are internal audit functions are terribly resource starved. Internal audit functions have a challenge of basically doing more with less, trying to make sure that everything they do is absolutely focused on the fundamental objective of the internal audit function. So the purpose of my presentation will be sharing what lean auditing is all about, providing tips on how to make sure the function is absolutely focused on what it needs to focus on, which is supporting the corporate objectives of the institution that actually employs us.
Great. Can you discuss a little bit the objectives behind lean auditing?
Absolutely. As internal auditors, we do an awful lot. But whilst it's supportive of internal auditing, it's probably not absolutely essential. So, for example, do we need to spend all of our time planning in the way we plan? Do we need to interview everybody that we actually interview? Do we absolutely need to test every control that we're actually involved in testing? And one of my key hobby horses, do we actually need to provide and create masses and masses of working papers? On the basis that time is probably the only non-renewable resource, I'm going to be focused on making sure that we dispense with absolutely everything that we don't need and focus on absolutely everything which is critical to our purpose in life.
Now, are there risks involved in transitioning to a lean strategy?
Absolutely. First of all, we're dealing with change. Most internal auditors that I interact with are lovers of audit programs, are lovers of frameworks, are quite cautious individuals. So moving to lean auditing is quite a risk. My own background is in the financial services sector. So we have a number of stakeholders that we need to please, and the most important stakeholder is the regulator. Regulators tend to work on the basis that if they can't see it, it didn't happen. So the absence of working papers is a major risk. So in transitioning to a lean auditing methodology, we need to manage these different stakeholders and perhaps educate them. So quite a challenge, but the positive is you have internal auditors who are totally focused on what they exist to do, which is to persuade management to change for the positive.
Now, if your attendees could take away just one thing from your session, what would you want it to be?
Yeah, what exactly are you doing with your life? Do you actually get out of bed to come to work, to test controls that don't matter, produce working papers that nobody looks at, or do you actually exist to make a positive change? As I said earlier on, my background is in financial services, and I've watched the banking community cause devastation on the planet in terms of the world's economies. So I'm a great believer that we as internal auditors need to use our scarce resource and make a difference where it actually matters. So I'm very excited about July the 8th.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us today, Sandro. We look forward to your presentation.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.